Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing, bringing you a special twin flame specific reading for guys. So here we go. Now this is for, not to really put a time on it, but I would say this is for the month of April. Now, if you are someone that happens to listen to this, 2, 3, 6 months down the road, your angels will guide you to whatever messages it is that you need to receive at that point in your journey. So for some of you, you may not hear this message until, it could be a year down the road. But if you're guided to hear it at that point, then these are those messages you need to receive at that moment. So they'll take you to what you need, which is why I don't always like putting a time on it. But for most, this is going to be a message for April 2017. Now, I have prayed over the cards. Okay. I know a lot of you guys like to know. Let's see, what are we pulling from today? We're getting Sandra Ann Taylor's Energy Oracle deck. Also going to be using Doreen Virtue's Fairy Tarot deck, John Holland's Psychic Tarot of the Heart deck, Doreen Virtue's Archangel Michael deck. Also going to pull from Cheryl Richardson's Self-Care deck. And I have my Sabila's shuffled and ready if we need those, and Doreen's Angel Answer deck. So if we need some clarifiers along the way, we'll use those. And at the end, I'm going to pull. Okay. At the end, I'm going to pull a Angel Answer card for everyone. So, find out what we're doing right now. I'll fill you guys in when we get there. So we're going to be doing some, as you can tell, we're going to be doing the Divine Masculine, the Divine Feminine, the energies on both. This too. Okay. So we're going to be doing Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine. We're going to be going over some shared energies. Going to be going over some things that need to be done on both sides. I'm sorry, just bear with me. Okay. And bottom again. Okay. Okay. So, bear with me while I figure out what it is that we're going to be covering today. We're going to be covering both sides of the house. So this is going to be the Divine Masculine. That's our Divine Feminine. And let me get these lined up, make sure you guys can see them before we get too far along. We're going to be doing some shared energies. They've had me pull some cards off the bottom of some of the decks. So we'll be going over those when we get there. So let me make sure you guys can see these. Oh, that's awesome. Outstanding. You might be able to get a sneak peek of a Yorkie too during the readings, because it looks like you've got a little bit of edge of the table. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so during the reading, I'm going to be Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine. Obviously, there are some men that are Divine Feminine. There are, women that are Divine Masculine. But with twin flames, there's always a masculine, always a feminine. So this side is our Divine Masculine. This is our feminine. These are some shared energies. Shared to-dos, okay. Okay, so what we've got is the current energy, how the Divine Masculine feels about the feminine, what the Divine Masculine would like the feminine to know, and what the masculine needs to do in order to move forward. Okay, so we're going to start off the first card. Current energy of the Divine Masculine is the Magician. And this is a card about really, knowing your power. It's really, a culmination of your personal power, a culmination of all these experiences that have helped you grow and develop, and really truly step into your power, actually being able to create the life that you desire. Like if you look here, he's balancing two things. In one hand, he's got this flame, and the flame signifies, that creating things, passion, action. It's the yang energy it's the energy, the masculine energy that brings things about. And on the other hand, he has water. And that is, you know, emotions. That is the yin energy. That's the feminine energy. But you have to have perfect balance of two to create things magical. And it's by balancing both the yin, the yang, the emotions with the action, the creation force. It creates this vortex of creation, transformation. We're actually going through a spiritual awakening. If you can see here, he has the infinity symbol above his head. So a lot of them are going through, or they're struggling and bringing those things to balance. But they're getting there. They're working on it. It is being divinely guided and led. And that he's with. For some, he's trying to decide whether to move forward or to stay single. He's evaluating the pros and cons of that. Being on your path, a divine path. They are now back on their path. They are going to be working toward making a decision in the month of April, because they're not procrastinating anymore. And that's because a number of them have been doing a lot of, you know, daydreaming. So they're like, oh my gosh, I feel this amazing connection. This is so good. Could it really be that good? And they're envisioning marrying that person, getting this dream house of a lifetime, maybe living by the water, having a family. But at some point, we have to take those wishful thinking, those daydreams that we have, and we have to put some action to and make some decisions to bring that to fruition. So he is now doing that. He is making a decision. He is working on a plan in order to put his dreams, in order to bring his dreams to fruition. He's putting a plan, some action steps to get that done. Now, for some, the procrastination has been because he's been, you know how they were mentioning here, overthinking. So for a large number of the divine masculine, they really have been overthinking this way too much. They've not allowed themselves to get out of that logical side of their brain and allow themselves to feel the emotions. That's changing now. That is changing. Okay, now as far as what the divine masculine needs to do in order to move forward, we have these two cards. The first one is keep your eyes on your targeted intention. At the bottom there is a prayer. Bring that up a little closer. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for helping me, now I have the glare, for helping me focus on my inner vision and intention. I ask for your guidance in releasing any fears or doubts, granting me the confidence and courage to take action toward realizing my dreams. And you have him here with his bow. So this is his divine path. It is a divine connection. He's being divinely guided. Archangel Michael is trying to help the masculine reach these goals. And really trying to help him stay focused. So for some of them, okay, so they're giving me images almost of ADD. You know how they were evaluating multiple people. So for some, because he's overthinking, overanalyzing, and fearful, he isn't making that decision and isn't making the action steps, not determining, so not focused on it. So for a number, they're saying, okay, so for some, they've been evaluating multiple choices of people. For some, it's been a choice of, okay, do I move forward with her, or do I stay single? But just overanalyzing, some bringing in more options, instead of moving forward with the gift that's in front of them. And others, they've finished the overanalyzing, the thinking. They're like, okay, I want this with her. But because they're afraid, they're doing a whole lot of things to keep them from setting their goals, thinking of an action plan, thinking of what they're going to do to come into union to repair this relationship, repair this connection. And that's what they're going to need to do in April. Because they're making their decision, but they now have to focus on, okay, now how you're going to bring this to fruition. What are you going to do? And for some, it's also having faith and positive thinking. Because the other card that we have is blessings. And on the back, it says, a grateful heart attracts more joy, love, and prosperity. Okay, so for some of them, they've been through such a challenging time getting to this point of having things changed, relationships ending, having to move, having family relationships change, friendships change, things at work change. Life has been tipped upside down, completely changed. Things are totally different now than what they used to be for him. So a lot of the Divine Masculine have gotten themselves into a place of sadness, anger, frustration, depression, not being grateful for the blessings that they do have, that they're surrounded by. And when we allow ourselves to get to that place, we find that things are more difficult for us. It's everything. Like, you'll go to get coffee and the Starbucks line will just take forever. You'll be behind, everyone's slow, then you get your drink and your drink is messed up. But everything from big things to little things, it's just, when we are not optimistic and we are not coming from a place of love and a place of gratitude, there's always something to be grateful for. But when we lose sight of the things to be grateful for and all we're seeing is the negativity and the frustrations with everything, that just leads to more. So in the month of April, Divine Masculine, you are being encouraged to start coming from a place of gratitude, and you will find that it's going to shift everything for you. And there is always something to be grateful for. I'm grateful for the person who smiles at you at the grocery store. Be grateful for the person who holds the, well, I guess Divine Masculine, you may not have the door held open for you. Be grateful for the person who treats you to coffee. Be grateful for someone who helps you with something at work. But there's always something. And a neat exercise that actually helps shift this energetically, that will get you from a place of anger, frustration, disappointment, sometimes depression, that will shift those things and also make life just go a little bit easier and become a little more magical, is start a gratitude journal. It's something I did like 4 years ago. It's really beneficial. I recommend it to clients all the time. It really does shift things and turn things around. So you can either keep a journal in your car and write in it throughout the day, or you can write in it at the end of the day, each day. But take the time each day to sit down and write down the things that you're grateful for. And initially, you may find that, okay, all I've got today that I'm grateful for is my car. I'm glad that my car worked today and didn't break down. And I'm so happy that the waiter at the restaurant smiled and was friendly. But what you'll find is if you stick with that every day, and every day you write at least one thing down that you are grateful for, you will find by the end of the month you have a lot of things every day to be grateful for. And you will find that life is more magical. More positive things are happening because you will attract that to you. Once you see things as blessings and once you come from a place of gratitude and you make that shift. So Divine Masculine, try that this month. And you will really notice a drastic difference in things around you and in your life. And focus on your goals. Focus on things that with the Divine Feminine. Focus on your next steps. And Archangel Michael said, ask him for his help, because he'll help you with that. And for some of you, you're going to need some courage. And they're saying that they're feeling alone, like the hermit. The hermit is, he's isolated. He's this lonely old man that walks around with a lantern, trying to light the way for other people as well as themselves. So right now she's feeling separated from the masculine. She loves him. She's healed her heart. She's open. You see these arms. She's open to receiving him. but she has taken a step back. They're saying because for some, she feels as though he has pushed her away. He hasn't communicated. He hasn't opened up. And it's gone on for so long that she has now closed up and pulled away. She's feeling alone. She's feeling isolated. She feels as though he doesn't want this, and now she's a mirror of him. She's now giving him what he has been giving her. They're saying have faith. Okay, so they're saying for a large number of you, they're going to have to open you back up to receiving because you have closed yourself off from that. Which brings us right into the next card of I see coldness. And this is the card that talks about, you know, what it is that she would like him to know. And we have the Princess of Winter. And at the top it says inquisitive. Hopefully you guys can see that. The sun's going down. Inquisitive, truthful, realistic, undiplomatic. And then at the bottom, it says information that can help you, but which may also be difficult to hear. Speaking the truth with kindness, an indigo child or adult. So the Princess of Winter, she's very intellectual. She's very curious and knowledgeable. She likes to learn things. She can tell the difference between the truth or a lie within seconds. She knows so many facts and figures. She would astound you with her intelligence. She's logical, she's realistic, she's grounded, she's purposeful. But you also see how it's icy and snowy. She keeps her emotions to herself, very guarded. Sometimes she'll speak and say things or act in ways without thinking about it. Not that she means to hurt feelings, but sometimes she'll do it like out of matter-of-fact honesty. And it's a card that also talks about, you know, the needing to communicate clearly, communicate openly. Okay, she needs him to communicate. That's what it is. You know, she feels alone and isolated. She feels cold emotionally. So she'd like him to know that she feels cold emotionally. For that to change and shift, she's going to need him to be honest and speak and communicate. And they're saying, actually, you know, because this card's typically talking about her, they're saying he has acted and done things that have made her cold. Which is the same thing that they were saying up there. Okay. Now, as far as what needs to be done by the Divine Feminine this month in order to move forward, you have two cards. You've got Archangel Michael. Let's get that with a tripod. Ask Archangel Michael to help you with this situation. And at the bottom, there is a prayer. Archangel Michael, thank you for assisting me with, describe the situation. Please help me be filled with faith and peace at all times. And then there's also the card playfulness. Now, okay. So Archangel Michael can help you. He can help you with the situation. He can help you come back to a place of faith and optimism. Because they're saying for some of you, the masculine is about to come and move forward to the feminine. And you're going to need to forgive him. Some of you are going to have a difficult time with that because of some stuff that's transpired between the two of you. But things aren't always what they seem. They're saying things are not always what they seem. You need to be open and receptive when he comes and has this conversation with you. Not be closed off, not be cold. Because for some of you, you think things have occurred that are not what you think they were. But you're not going to know until he comes and communicates, which is why you need him to know that he needs to come and communicate. And when he does, and he is going to do that, ask Archangel Michael to help you. because it's not too late for things to turn around. Things are going to turn around. Even though many of you have given up hope, they're saying have faith. And when this does happen, because for some of you this is going to happen in April. And for those of you that's not going to be in April, it is going to be happening at some point when he does come and communicate with you. Be open to that. Be receptive to that. Ask Archangel Michael to help you with that. And they're encouraging you to, in order to help prepare for this, because you know everything's energetic. Everything's energetic. Right now you're in a state of iciness, coldness, frustration, hurt, disappointment, some anger. It's going to energetically block you because he's already picking up on that. And he's already afraid to come and see you because you're going to say some mean, hurtful words. And things are not what they seem. But you're not going to know until you guys have a conversation. You're not going to have a conversation until you shift those energies. So in the month of April, do some releasing to release those emotions, release the blame. For some of you, you're like blaming and beating yourself up thinking that you did something wrong. You didn't, but they're saying that you're not seeing the whole picture. You don't have all the details yet. But in the meantime, to prepare and to get ready, in April, ask Archangel Michael to help. Ask the angels to help. Ask that they help turn things around. Ask that they help turn your perspective around. And then use the full moon. We just had a new moon Sunday, so in about a week and a half, actually probably just over a week. Yeah, just over a week, we're going to have a full moon. Full moons are wonderful for doing releasing. What you do, write down the list of all the things that you want to release, say a prayer, ask that they help you release those things, and then burn it. Do that because you need to start releasing these emotions that are going to just have you have an entire guard up against him. I mean, he could come and apologize tomorrow, be very true, be ready to share his emotions, ready to move forward, ready to embrace this love of a lifetime, but you're still pissed off about everything that's happened in the past, and you're not having any of it. This is a divine love. You are mirrors of each other. Right now you have a wall up. In order for him to let his wall down, you need to let your wall down. So ask Archangel Michael to help you release those emotions, and also to shift your energy back to a more positive, optimistic place. Have some fun this month. They're saying stop being so serious. And it says, play with a child. Children are your greatest teachers. So children, they're innocent. They like to have fun. They like to jump in puddles. They find joy in little things, kind of like gratitude. That shifts your energy, because a lot of divine feminine are similar to the masculine, just for a different reason, in a state of sadness and frustration and depression. To raise yourself out of that this month, they're encouraging you to have fun, play, do something silly every day. Maybe go, I mean, if you're in Ohio, we have a whole week ahead of us, including tonight, filled with rain. So go jump in a puddle, dance, sing, color, go out with friends. Do something that's going to raise your vibration, that's going to make you laugh, going to bring you some joy, because that will shift everything. They're saying that'll also help you not be so disgruntled when you have to do your releasing ceremony, because some of you are really angry. But have fun and play. Okay, what are you guys so angry about? Okay, I think they're all straightforward. Let's find out this Princess of Winter, to find out, you know, what's behind the anger. Okay, let's see here. Allie, get down. So, older woman, a grandma, or just an older acquaintance, but an older person, an older woman. And then we have a falsita. If you guys can see that. This is falseness, lies, hidden intentions, deceit, dishonesty. Okay, so this is a card where she's saying what she needs, what she'd like the masculine to know. And she needs him to be honest and truthful about the other women. So for some, Divine Feminine is angry and upset because there is a younger woman in the masculine's life. For some, there's an older woman in his life. They're saying for some, he's got a couple of different options of women in his life. But she thinks you're disloyal. She thinks you're dishonest. She thinks you're unfaithful. She's fearful that she can't trust you. That you lack having a loyal bone in your body. But they're saying things aren't what they seem. But you're going to have to communicate that. Because that's the big problem where everything's stemming, is there's no communication. And that deceit has made her cold. And even if there hasn't been deception, maybe it's totally something, because they're saying things aren't exactly what they seem. So maybe there wasn't the cheating, the lying, the behavior that she thought. But perception's reality. And if there's no conversations going on to let her know otherwise, her perception's her reality. And it's making her cold and cut off. Oh, that's funny, which is why you guys are both tied up. So this is a shared energy of the masculine and the feminine, and we have all tied up. So they're both tied up. He's tied up because he's having a hard time facing his emotions and having a hard time taking some action. She's all tied up because she's hurt. She's fearful of being hurt again. Which is why she's fearful of moving forward, which is why she's just focused on work. And that's iced over her heart. But it is going to take some communication. Okay. Oh, this. Okay. You are both the doorway to love for each other. But you have to open up your heart to that. Things that have transpired. She's believing, okay, I think this is all made up in my head. I'm crazy. This is not true. I give up. This card we have is 18, the moon. This is a major arcana. At the bottom, it says powerful intuitive epiphanies, letting go of worry and fear, understanding the truth of the situation. This is a major arcana. This connection between the two of you is major. But you're getting all these signs, you're getting all these synchronicities, you're getting all of this information about what the next step is. You're being guided and pushed to take that step. So some of you, you're like seeing billboards, some of you are having dreams, some of you are hearing conversations with their name, some of you are hearing songs, some of you, you'll think about them and suddenly you'll see their name. Because God and the angels, Jesus, they're trying to lead you to this person that's going to fulfill you. They're saying that's going to undo a lot of the stuff that's occurred to you because of people in the past. But you have to take action on those steps and those things that they're guiding you to, because a lot of you, not only are they giving you signs to confirm this is the direction to go, you're to head to her, you're to be ready to receive him. They're also giving action steps in order for you to have some progress, some movement forward. And some of you are starting to see and know some things that you didn't know before. Because you're getting this insight, this information, these aha moments. And some of you are going to find that things are not what they appear. You know how they were saying earlier, things aren't what they seem. See, she's playing one instrument. Let me see if I can hold this up close. She's playing one instrument, but what's reflected in the water is totally different. So both of you have some perceptions and some things that are not correct. that some things aren't what they appear to be. But you're at a key pivotal point right now that both of you need to listen to that psychic information, that intuitive information. You also have to act on it. Even as quirky and weird as it sounds, sometimes we are guided to do quirky things that make no sense. And hopefully that's good. Now, will you two go play somewhere else? So sometimes we're guided to do these things that make absolutely no sense. So, but we need to like do them. Trust that intuition, trust that knowing, trust that guidance that, you know, you're getting. Because you may not know all the details as to why, you may never know, but there's reasons that they're guiding you to do things. So, okay. So for my twin and I was, so I had received some information, and so I'm like, okay, so I'm talking, you know, the angels talk and Jesus talk in my ear all the time. But I was asking them, okay, so what's going on with this? And I even had pulled some cards, and this was a couple days ago. I had pulled some cards, and I got the death card 3 times, and then I got the Wheel of Fortune card a couple times. And I'm like, okay, so this is the death of this. This is the end of this, because I got some information that I wasn't very pleased with. And I'm like, okay, well, this is over. This is done. This is the death. This is the ending of this. I'm done with him. He's dead to me. So that I can move forward. Allie, you see this? This is our problem. Get down. So I'm like, okay, so this is over. It's dead. I've got to end this completely, you know, close off my heart, separate myself from this in order to move forward. And they're like, no, that's not it. I'm like, well, no, that is it, because you've got the death card, you got the wheel, you're saying that I have to end this, because they were saying, well, you have to end this. You have to end this karmic cycle. And I'm like, okay, well, to end it, then I need to be done with him. And they're like, no. No, you're not listening. They're like, you have to end the karmic cycle with him in order to have a new beginning with him. So they gave me this thing that I had to do to release the karma between us, and I had to do something before, because I was stuck in a soul contract that was an ex-spouse of his, and had to do that over the holidays. But now this was a big key piece, and so they wanted me to do this thing. To release these karmic ties. So essentially and it wasn't to release the karmic ties, but they wanted me to release these karmic cycles, the karmic blocks between him and I, which we have carried over from a couple lifetimes into this lifetime, and we have to have the ending, the death of those karmic blocks in order to move forward. And the karmic blocks were, he's fearful that he's not going to be able to take care of me, protect me, provide for me, because of things that have occurred in past lives between the two of us. Meanwhile, I felt that he's going to abandon me. He's not going to be there for me. So for 2 different reasons, we keep, going through this gift. But both of you are going to have to commit to this, commit to each other. Commit to doing your work. Commit to trusting what you're being guided to do. Commit to doing those things. Commit to having those conversations. Commit to doing that work so you're open to that. And take a risk. Take a leap of faith. Because you'll be blessed with bliss, with happiness, with joy. They're saying to overcome your fear, you have to take a leap of faith. You can't get this many signs and synchronicities and divine pushes from God, Jesus, and angels into the direction of your beloved if you're going to fall on your face or it's going to be a train wreck or disaster. They're pushing you where you're meant to be. They're pushing you to where you're going to find joy and happiness. And not, it's almost like this key, coming together with them, is the key that unlocks all areas. So they're saying for a number of you, your finances are going to completely turn around. Things at work are going to completely turn around. Relationships with family and friends are going to turn around and evolve. All areas are going to be blessed by this unconditional love that the 2 of you share. And you're also going to bless lives of others. But you're going to have to take the leap of faith and overcome that fear. And do what they're guiding you to do. Because you'll find it's worth it. And they're saying, and some of you are going to kick yourselves for waiting so long. Because you're going to be like, dang, I should have done this earlier. Why did I wait so long? But divine timing's at play. Everything happens for a reason. But when they are pushing us and guiding us, if we just do it, things go a little bit faster. And we'll be like, oh, thank you, God, for making me do that. I am so happy that I did. So, I hope that this... Oh, yes, we're going to pull these. Okay. So, real quick, before we shut this thing off... Okay, so I'm going to pull one angel answer card for the masculine. I'm going to pull one for the feminine. So go ahead and think of the questions that you have. So if there's something you still have a question about, get the question in your head. We'll start with divine masculine. Oh, yeah, okay. So we'll start with masculine, then we'll do feminine. So think of your question. Sorry, it's getting late and I'm tired and the dogs have wrecked our video. Yeah, words are not coming to me anymore. Okay, so masculine, you got your question? Okay, success. Put that up there so you can see it. Okay, now feminine, do you have your question? You ready? Meditation brings answers. Okay. You all had your own individual questions. You have very strong intuition, trust what you're getting. But what they just said to me that made me laugh was that, they were saying that things aren't what they seem. Some of you are wondering, well, what is that? Well, then what's really going on? And I do wish you all an amazing month filled with a lot of love, joy, and blessings.